to the month of July. Yay! Hello Adrian and welcome back once again to my channel. It is 7:30 p.m. UTC plus 8 and welcome everybody who is watching around the world once again. We had a beautiful day yesterday because it was, yes, the monthly candle close, and we have, well, maybe a lot, maybe a little bit, well, quite a lot to be talking about Bitcoin, about the monthly close. But first, let me say hello and welcome to our hardcore crew. Hi Lex, hi Nikolai, hi Syed, hi Jeremy, hi Darren, and Teach Info. Another teacher. We have another teacher joining in. Hi Jay Constant and Sweet Canary. Hi. So while the people are trickling in, let's take a look first on the COVID numbers and see if there's something going on over there, and if we are seeing some momentum shifting towards the downside or not. Hi, Henry. So we are close to 2.7 million cases now in the US. Maybe they should start testing less. That's just a joke, by the way. That's a joke, okay? Hi, Adam. Hi, Fardin. Brazil, we are at close to 1.4 million cases, and Russia is 650,000, and India over the 500,000. How does it look on the chart? Let's take a look how it looks on the chart. Hi, Zendor. We are at close to 10.5 million cases overall, but it does seem to look like there is a little bit of a pullback towards the downside. A little bit, maybe. Hi, MJ. So US is still not looking good. Brazil is still not looking good. Russia is still not good and looking good. India is not looking good. Peru is not good and looking good, and Chile is not looking good either. So, yes, in terms of like the COVID situation, yeah, still not looking good. That means that, well, stocks keeps going up. Of course, that's what it means. COVID virus. You just follow the COVID virus chart, and then you know what the stocks are going to be doing. That's basically what is going on. Let me take a sip first of my vitamin boost water. Vitamin water. Vitamin boost water. Yes, vitamin boost water. Hi Tina. Hi Gita. Welcome. So let's jump immediately into the monthly candle analysis, because that's basically what we are looking for, right? And well, let's go take a look on the monthly chart. And here we go. We're clicking on the monthly chart. This is how our monthly candle looks like. What does it represent? Pretty much a doji candle, right? A doji candle. And then basically I'm going to make the monthly candle analysis in one click. There you have it. So we have a cross up, and now we are pending a cross down on the monthly chart. That's it for today. I'm just kidding. That was the monthly candle analysis. So we are having a cross towards the downside, and that's something that I've been talking about for, I don't know, this past 2 weeks or something like that. What was it, 2 weeks? Could be even longer. I don't know how long it has been. We've been saying it for like quite some time. But as you can see, it is setting up to become a not as great as a candle close as we can be expecting on the Bitcoin chart. Also, we can also see that on the RSI, we are still above the EMA. As you can see, we are still above the EMA. So what does this candle close mean? Okay. Let me try to put something in perspective for the monthly candle close, right? So of course we have a doji candle that speaks for itself. The Stokes are basically crossing towards the downside, which means most likely over the month we will have a small pullback. What does this mean? That this is the end for Bitcoin and we're gonna have a major crash or anything like that? Most likely not. That's not what it's saying. Or else the Stokes would be effectively crossing hardcore or very fast down. What it does say is most likely the month after. So we are talking about August, after July. So after July, in August, we will have a confirmation, or basically it will tell us which direction that will most likely will be going, right? Since it's a doji candle on the monthly, either towards the upside or towards the downside, right? So obviously I am still more inclined towards the downside rather than the upside, because technically, as you can see right here, the wick on the top side is a little bit longer than the downside. But not only that, we are grinding towards this resistance line that we have been trying to break for a really, really long time already. And once again, we still have not broken it just yet. Okay, but let's keep things in very, very, very good perspective, because what I wanted to say is, let's take a look at the Nasdaq chart and the Nasdaq or the traditional markets. Let's take a look on the monthly, and this is what the monthly looks like for Nasdaq. As you can see, boom, a gigantic green candle. So what does this mean? Since that we have a correlation between the stock market and the Bitcoin market, that just means that this looks really, really good for in macro perspective. So when we're talking about macro perspective, when we're talking about let's say 3-4 months, in the next 3-4 months, things are actually looking really, really good for Bitcoin. So what does this mean in terms of my bias? I'm not saying that we won't have a pullback. We will always have a pullback. That's just how Bitcoin, like I said, even during the bull market, and if this is becoming, even if this is turning into a bull market, we will still have like these pullbacks of like 30-40%, small pullbacks for Bitcoin. So that's basically what I am expecting still. If we can see on the higher time frames, we can clearly see that, like I said, the stocks on the weekly are still heading towards the downside. The 3-day, we didn't have a 3-day close. Tomorrow we will have a 3-day close, but the previous 3-day close, as you can see, below the EMA 21. And for the 2-day, we did have a close also yesterday on the 2-day chart, and as you can see, the 2-day closed once again below the EMA 21. And what is coming up, and it's getting nearer and nearer, is this crossover between this 10 simple moving average, or this red line, crossing over towards the downside, putting pressure basically on the price, right? So the longer the price stays below that moving averages, of course, the pressure will be from the top side pushing it down. Does that mean that we cannot break it towards the upside? Of course we can. There's always a possibility. We always have to put everything into perspective. But for now, my bias is still pressured on the downside. Why? Because, well, we keep making closes below the EMA 21, right? I mean, if let's take a quick look on the daily. As we can see on the daily, we keep closing below the EMA 21. It's been like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days already that we are closing below the EMA 21. It's been a very slow grind towards the downside, but that's what Bitcoin does, right? And then we also even closed below the EMA 55 on the daily, 1, 2, 3, and then it broke up one time, and then it went back down one time, and now we are currently once again below the EMA 55. But of course the daily has not closed just yet, so we cannot give but as long as we keep closing below the EMA 21, of course the pressure will be from the top side, pushing the price down rather than pushing the price going up, of course, right? But anyways, let's go back into our 2-day chart, because this is basically this is way more important than what I wanted to say. If we are looking at the Bollinger Band, and this is this sort of like this green cloud that we are seeing, whenever it basically contracts, it contracts really, really hard. It's very similar actually to our historical volatility percentile, right? So when it contracts, we can expect after a contraction a big move after, and every time it does that, basically that's what happens. And you can see an example here. It contracts here, the distance between the two lines become smaller, and as you can see, it expands into like a big bang, and the price goes towards this, in this case goes towards the downside. But it's very similar. It doesn't give the direction, right? Here as well, as you can see, it's starting to contract here, and then it expands, and then we get a nice move towards the upside. Here it contracts, and we got a move towards the downside, and here once again it contracts, and the price goes towards the downside, and here it contracts here, as you can see, a very long contraction for a very long time, and then it moves and it it pushes the price towards the upside. And if you can see right now, as you can see, the contraction is now very, very, very small. As you can see, like the width between the two lines is insanely small right now. So what does that mean? Well, it means that we will have an explosion or a price movement, and that's what the historical volatility percentile has been telling us for the past I don't know 2 weeks or something like. I've never seen it before that the HVP has been flashing for such a long time on the daily, basically. So yeah, crazy times, to be honest. But yeah, all I can say is the resolution will be coming pretty soon, and if we are looking at the volume indication, it will become yeah, sooner than later. And I think I've showed that yesterday as well already. If we make a triangle here, as you can see, of the volume here, we can clearly see that we are super close to the end of this triangle, basically. And usually what happens is when it becomes like 75%, 70 to 75%, it usually breaks up the volume. Is it going to be a red candle or is it going to be a green candle? That's something that we don't know, right? But that's basically what we want to be positioning ourselves in before that move happens as a trader, no matter if it's towards the upside or towards the downside. So that's what I that's basically what that I've been keep saying for a really long time already. And yeah, of course it sounds like I'm repeating myself for a really long time, but if you're serious, you can look at the price. It has been just going sideways for since May, right? Since May, it has been going sideways for since May. So sadly enough, the only thing that I can say is yeah, we will have a move or a breakout sooner than later. But in terms of the monthly close, it's not necessarily a negative monthly close. For Bitcoin, it's not nearly a positive one, because the Stokes, as you can see, did cross towards the downside rather than the upside. So in terms of probabilities, it just means that most likely this month we will have a small retracement towards the downside. And when we are talking about small, you know how Bitcoin how Bitcoin is when we're talking about small. Sometimes, like, 30 or 40% pullback that's small for Bitcoin. We are kind of used to that already, right? But that's why we like Bitcoin so much. But in terms of the macro perspective, this is looking like, because I see so much correlation with the traditional market, this does look like that we are in a wave 2 in the macro scale. So let's go back into the macro scale. So we've been talking about that for a while as well. Where is it? Where is my chart? Where is my chart? No, that's not my chart. Was this the chart? Yeah, this was the chart. Let's move this out. Let's zoom it up. Yep, this is the chart. So when we were talking about the very macro perspective, we were thinking like, okay, well, could this be a triangle, which is what we were looking at? Is this a triangle, or could this be a broadening wedge or something like that? Well, because of this, because we are seeing the traditional markets and the monthly closes to be that positive, I kind of can delete this possibility already. Of course, there's always still a possibility that we break down towards that side, or that broadening wedge becomes, but the probabilities that this is more a triangle is way higher. And if we are talking about Elliott waves, of course, this is our fifth wave, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and most likely this would be our ABC correction, something like this. So this is our A, this is our B, and this is our C. So this would be our final correction. Let's put it on the higher waves, of course, our cycle here. This would be our ABC. So this would most likely be our bottom. So meaning we would never see anything lower than that anymore. And this would be actually our first wave, right? Our first impulse wave. So something like this. Let's make it 1, 2, 3. So something like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like this. So this would be our top our 5 waves are completed. And what happens after the 5 waves? Of course, after the 5 waves, we get an ABC correction, which is our second impulse wave, right? So then in the main wave, this would be our first wave, this would be our 1, and then 2, and then 3 would be breaking out for 5 in the top, right? So something like this, and this would be our millennium wave, something like this. Let's be really crazy and make this like a super bullish 50,000 whatever. Don't look at the amounts, of course. It's just more the structure. Let's look at this structure. The structure is way more important than anything else. So then this 5 waves, we would get a correction, an ABC correction towards the downside, and then we would see something, for example, like this: A, B, and then let's say C, and then this would be our second wave, for example. Right? Okay. So yeah. So that's most likely what we're seeing, and then after this second wave, we are going to a very long, and that's actually the longest wave towards the third wave upwards, right? So where's my third wave? Here, third wave. Let's say let's call it 16,000, and then we get a correction again, and then we go to like 30,000, whatever, something like that. So that would be our Elliott wave count that we are doing on a macro scale. So pretty much pretty bullish what I'm seeing on the charts for the traditionals with those monthly closes on the traditional markets, not necessarily on the Bitcoin chart, but on the traditional markets. This looks really good. So this is basically what I'm waiting for. So either we correct down towards the 7.5k, we can correct towards the 6.8k, or we can correct all the way down towards the 6k. That's basically what we are looking at. For now, I am still, like I said, I'm still looking for a movement towards a movement towards the downside, maybe around 7.5k would be ideal, I think, something like that. This is the first target, and that would be my A wave, right? And then a small bounce towards maybe 8.5, and then a C wave. The C wave could be anything, right? It could be here as well, could be 6.8, could be here 6k. That's something that we will see on a later case, right? But for now, this is pretty much what I'm seeing, because of the monthly close that I'm seeing on the Nasdaq chart. It looks really bullish. It looks really good for the traditional markets, meaning for Bitcoin, most likely it's really good as well. So for in the long term, that's basically what I'm still looking. No, Adam. It's not, because the fifth wave is already completed. We are actually this downwards movement would be our A wave, and that's basically what our Wyckoff theory is saying. We would be going back, as you can see, we would be going back towards 7.5k, right? As you can see, we would be going back to 7.5k, and then that would match up with our Elliott wave here, our A point, right? Maybe I should put the wave lines, then you can see it better. Here. There, for example. So the Wyckoff theory is basically that part, right? The part where we are going from this structure here towards this A wave. Yeah, that's correct. So we can have 5 waves. So a normal traditional correction of an ABC pattern is 5 waves towards the downside. So let me remove all of this first. So an ABC correction is most likely an 5 waves. So we could be seeing something like this towards the downside. This would be our first 1, 2, something like 3, 4, 5. But this would be our minute waves, right? Smaller waves. Okay, something like this. So something like this. So this is possible for our our A wave towards the downside, and then we get three waves towards the upside, something like this, towards the upside for our. This has to be our minute also. There, and I'll remove the wave, something like this, and then we have five waves towards the downside once again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There, something like this is what is most common, but Bitcoin is not very common, so I doubted that it will be that easy to be forming. But that's basic. But my whole point is basically that in the macro perspective, because what we're seeing right now on the monthly closes on the traditional markets, I am quite bullish for Bitcoin in the macro macro perspective. Yeah. Yes, Nikolai. So 5535. That's the standard ABC, but it can also become a 3333 as a flat correction. It can also become a triangle leading diagonal. That's the reason with with Elliott waves. There's so many possibilities, and you have to basically invalidate along the way. But while invalidating it, you can't really trade it anymore because it already happened. So it's really cool to be using it after it already happened because it looks really fancy and it looks really cool. But to be actually trading with Elliott waves, it's really hard to be successful because there's so many probabilities or possibilities. But it's something that you have to go through. Like I said, it's still a very interesting theory. It's still an interesting technical analysis, the Elliott waves theory. But like I said, as a trader myself, it's something nice to be doing as an analyst. Yes, as an analyst, yes, but as a trader, it's very hard to be profitable trading Elliott waves. I'm not saying it's impossible. Like I said, I'm not saying it's impossible, but for me, it's just easier to be profitable using other methods than Elliott waves theory. But anyways, so this is sort of like what I'm seeing right now. I'm still waiting for, yeah, basically my what's that? My 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 week of theory to be completing, right? So nothing on that area changed, but like I said, when we are entering a trade or we in a trade, what my viewpoint is, it's better for me to be trying to find reasons why it will not work out rather than the reasons that it will work out. We've been over everything pretty much yesterday already, and nothing that much changed, right, from yesterday. We are still waiting for actual movement of Bitcoin. This is still valid. This is obviously still valid as well. We're still waiting for that move towards the downside. What is more important in terms of like an investor's point of view is because the monthly closes or monthly candles are really positive for the traditional markets, and there is a high correlation between the traditional market and the Bitcoin market. It means that most likely we will have something really positive in 2021, because if things work out, as you can see, if we do this retracement perfectly until the end of the year, somewhere around, November, December, October, something like that, and we will have a insanely big pump that we can be expecting throughout end of the year until next year, right? So it's more that mindset or that perspective for me that, okay, well, if we do get a retracement, if we do get the retracement towards like this, for example, let's say we get back to 6,000 on this bottom, it would be a good investment, right? It could mean not only for trading, but it could be a very good spot for just investing and well, riding the third wave, right? Because if this is the second wave and we go into the third wave, like I said, most likely 14K would be well, we can actually do a Fibonacci retracement, right? So extension, sorry, to make a little bit of a measured move on what is possible. Let's make a measured move here. So that would mean we get this as an extension, and then let's say we would trace all the way to 6,000, right? Let's say we trace all the way to 6,000. Then our 1.68 here. So third wave would be here, around the $14,000. and then eventually our fifth wave would be at $24,000, something like that. So then here, something like this. So yeah, then we would see something like that, 14K, and then in 2021, and then 25K in 2022. Basically, that's a I mean, that's a very positive scenario, because if we do make that broadening wedge structure, like I was kind of fearing for that, then we would go back to, like, 2,500 would be very probable. Basically, this 1.68 Fibonacci retracement towards the downside. So yeah, that's the problem. Is I think we would lose a lot of people in the industry, and a lot of people would just give up, and so yeah, it's just something that is not very positive. So I would prefer that this is a triangle rather than a broadening wedge for that particular reason. And then, well, we've done some quick Elliott wave on it, and that's basically what we could potentially be looking at. But take it with a grain of salt. This Elliott waves. The only thing that we basically can be seeing is yeah, we probably have a good future with Bitcoin as an investment. That's, I think, the most important thing that we can take out from this. Are we in a big wave 4 in the macro count? No, I think this is just the first wave, and I think we just have a second wave. I mean, I think this is now a correction that we have, right? So I think this is our second wave that we are having. So I don't think that we will have a fifth wave towards this. This was what I originally was thinking, right? We would have a fifth wave towards the 11.5, and then get a correction from there towards the downside. But it looks like, well, there's still a possibility. It's still a possibility. That's what I mean with Elliott waves, right? So this could potentially be our third wave, and this could be potentially our fourth wave that we are forming here, and then we can go to 11.5K, for example, to form our fifth wave, and then this would be just our first wave, and then we would get a correction, and then we could do something like that as well. That's the problem with, like I said, that's the problem with Elliott waves. It's yeah, it's kind of it's very hard to be sure in which you have, like, so many different possible counts that it makes it impossible basically to be actually trading it correctly, right? But for now, this is basically what I'm seeing as a count. The reason why I think that is the correct count is, of course, this structure that we have been forming here did make lower highs continuously, and it is looking similar like a wick of distribution pattern. As you can see, we had pretty much everything in terms of, like, structure, in terms of, like, volume, and as you can see right now, volume is, like, really on the super low end right now. So yeah, it just makes sense that we have reached our fifth wave on the Elliott wave count. But nothing is sure. So let's go into some short term, because that's so macro, that's very far away. So, but just for people who are interested in seeing that, because a lot of that's what a lot of people want to see or want to hear, right? So they watch people who are saying, like, "Whoa, Bitcoin is going to $25,000." Well, yeah, I've showed you it's very probable, but it can also not be working out as well, right? So I don't know. I'm not really interested in that. I'm more interested in okay, well, is it healthy? Is what we are doing right now healthy in terms of, like, okay, well, is it not gonna die the next month or something like that? Isn't gonna be going to zero or something? Is there some future or potential? And it looks like, on a technical analysis, a very strong correlation with the traditional market. So it looks very healthy for the next couple of years. So why not, be interested and working on your skills in the next couple of years if things are looking really good, right? Anyway, let's go under the daily chart. Woo, daily chart. Where are we? Well, as you can see, we closed once again below the EMA 55 once again. We closed below the EMA 55 once again, which is obviously not a good thing. After breaking up above the EMA 55 for one day, we are back below the EMA 55. Right now we are getting rejected from the EMA 55, but that's not really the most important thing. The most important thing is basically the structure, right? Like when we are seeing a structure, something like this. So this is the channel that we have been forming, and where are we really? As you can see, usually this is what happens. We touch the point and we get rejected. We touch the point and we get rejected. We get support and we pushed up. But right now, as you can see, it is grinding towards the downside, as you can see, and very far away, of course, from the top side. Does that mean that we cannot get up towards the top side anymore? Of course we can. Of course we can. But the probabilities is just, when you are very heavy and it just seems to have no power or strength to be moving upwards, of course the probabilities is just higher that we are going towards the downside than the upside. And we are just flirting with this position right here. And yeah, my bias towards the downside is still exactly the same. I still think that we will be going towards this 8.5k 8.6k ish area, which is where the EMA 200 is right now, or this purple line that is moving up right now, as you can see here. I think that is where we will be ending up. And well, looking at the volume profile, like I said, we are very mature. We are getting very near there. So we will have that move either towards the downside or toward the upside very soon. Now, let's take a look on the bullish case, right? We want to be sure in our short. So what are we seeing on the bullish side, or when can we say that we can be returning into a bullish side, right? So this is basically what it is showing, right? So we had this look. Oh, maybe let's take this one, just this one is better. Boom. So this is basically the structure that we're having. As you can see, we are still, if maybe possible, maybe this was just a fake out, because that is very possible during the weekend that we break out. It was on a Saturday, like I said. We have to put that. It is important to say it was on a Saturday that we broke down and out of this channel. So maybe that was a fake out. We are still holding this triangle that we are forming. The problem is, of course, we are making lower highs, right? So, but when do we get bullish? Well, we can bounce up from this side, break out of this first green box, out of the second green box, and then move towards this green box towards the upside. Because then, if we make a measured move from this one, if we break out of this triangle, yeah, most likely we'll be going even higher. We'll be going most likely towards our green box, yeah, our 10.5k green box here on the towards the top side, if we break out from that area. So, as a trader, it's quite easy in terms of like risk management, right? So, since we're in a short from 9.3k, right, somewhere around there, 9.3k. If we break the first box, if we close candles above this first box, most likely we will be going towards the second box, and then we have a chance. If we break above this green box once again, we have a chance to be going up all the way. So our risk management is very defined. So that's why I'm like, I'm just waiting it out. I mean, there's no point in rushing or anything like that, as long as we see the moving averages. And you can see here, the EMA 21 is still curling towards the downside. The 10 simple moving average is still curling towards the downside, and that is going to give pressure towards the price. Even if we are going to go up, it still has to break it. It still has to break this one, and then it can only get out of that triangle, right? So in terms of like in a trader's position, you can easily put your stop losses, right? So for people who are more, risk averse, you can easily put your stop loss around here, right? This second green box here at like 9,450. For myself, I'm a little chicken, so I'm not gonna do that. For me, it's very clear. If we break this EMA 21 at 9,303 right now, why would I not close my short position right there? Because we can just if the price goes back up here, we can just try to short it back down here at a better position at like 9,450, for example. You can re-enter a short right there. So why would I take the risk of waiting until 9,450 or something like that? So yeah, that's basically what I'm seeing. Is there a chance that we are still bouncing up from here towards this here? That would be the, for me, really the max. If we break above it, then this would be the second spot that is possibly a shorting area, because once again it is a major resistance at 1-2 lower highs that we are forming, and over the macro it still is looking more pressure towards the downside rather than the upside, right? So nothing really changes on that area. It's only when we are breaking out of this this triangle here, then we are back, and we are talking more bullish information as well. So you can exclude weekend data on different platform, but I don't think you can do it on TradingView. But you can do it on other platforms, Teach Info. So for now, it's all about being very patient. All about being very patient. But like I said, everything is very risk defined, right? And that is way more important than anything else, right? So for you to have a position, you also must have a immediately a plan in case your position, or in case your plan doesn't work out. So for me, it's very simple, right? We are here. Oh yeah, on the 4-hour chart, we are still in the same pattern that I've been talked about yesterday. We're still in this rising wedge, and as you know, a rising wedge has more probability to be breaking towards the downside rather than the upside, and we are still getting rejected here from this green box that we have formed for a while now already, as you can see. So is it possible that we still can go up a little bit higher towards this 9,240 and then break down? Sure, very possible, as long as we are still in this rising wedge. But it's when we break about up and above this this green box here, as you can see, and out of this rising wedge, which has happened before, then we are going towards this second green box here, which is of course this second green box here on the top side on the daily chart, right? So like I said, our risk is very defined. Like I said, I'll be exiting if we break the 9,291 right now, or the EMA 200, because the dead cross, whenever we have a dead cross, there's two possibles. Whenever we have this dead cross here, we either test the EMA 55, which we have done already, or we can retest the EMA 200. If we break the EMA 200, then the death cross will obviously be getting negated, because the green line is going to be curling up and recrossing the purple line once again, right? So like I said, pretty easy to be knowing when to put your stop losses or when to revert into your strategies. But for now, still exactly the same as we've been talking about for the past couple of days, weeks even. Still waiting for this pattern to be breaking. If we break this pattern, then that will eventually break this red line once again, and it would actually break the red line during a normal weekday and not during a weekend or a Saturday. So that would give me more confidence, and then it will be going most likely towards the 8.6k or this green box here to the downside. So it's all about being very patient right now. But yeah, the big move is it's really testing our patience. Really testing our patience. It has been a lot more fun and action trading on the traditional markets than on Bitcoin, to be honest. Bitcoin has become like for the past couple of weeks, it has been more a stable coin than anything else. But it will get there. It will get there. You know, when that's the thing. You have to be, as a trader, you have to be super patient, and it will get there. It will get there. So for now, short term, still waiting for this pattern to be breaking either towards the downside or the upside. If we do break towards the upside and we break above the EMA 200, for me it's it's game over, as in most likely we'll be heading towards this area here at around the 9.5, 9.450 or 9.5, 9.450 level anyways. So then we can just reanalyze, or well, rethink our strategy from that part anyways, because we might just get rejected from here, from the top of the channel. Maybe we'll move this box a little bit to the right hand side, because it seems like it's taking forever. But yeah, on the other hand, as you can see, even if we move towards the upside, we are very near, very near the apex as well, right? So very near the apex. Yeah, Nikolai, you can use exactly the same things on the traditional markets as well. And actually, I'll show you how confluent, how the correlation on the S&P and the Bitcoin market is very similar. I'll show it to you in a while after I'm done with the Bitcoin analysis. So what are we looking for? Well, I've told you this RSI pattern, this descending wedge has been broken towards the downside, and it has retested this support line that has turned into resistance. So for example, if we would be breaking back into this descending triangle, that would be really bad, right? That would be pretty bad. And well, where would that be? Well, if we're looking at 48.5 on the RSI, let's move this one to the left hand side here. If we go back and we say, like, yeah, if we go back to like 48.5, something like that, that would be pretty bad, right? Because it would go back into this triangle. And do we have a tool to check out what 48.5 is in pricing? Yes, we do. That's the cool part. That's the cool part, to have all these tools that we can be using. So we can input it here. And if we go to 48.5 and we enter it, what is the price? The price is 9,256, which means if the price goes to 9,256, it's most likely not a good sign for our short, right? It's most likely it's going towards this top of the triangle once again, which means we are most likely going back into the top of this this triangle on the top side once again, which means we should be closing our short and reposition ourselves a little bit later on a better spot, and you know, just take that $5, well, for in my case, $3 or $4, whatever it is. It's not even $3 or $4. What is, I think I still have some I would still have some profit. What's the EMA 200 right now? 9,291. So I would still have like $5, because you know, you put a little bit higher, right? Like $5 or $6 higher, or maybe just a round number, 9,301. Take that $1 spread, something like that. Anyways, you see, using those kind of tools, it's really cool to be doing. Let's go into our momentum, because, well, we already crossed the 12 hour. What is the expected move charts? What our expected move charts are saying? First standard deviation to the top side is 9,245, and what's that price? That's exactly the price where, you know, where it could be dangerous, right? If we break that price to the upside, what's the first standard deviation to the downside is 9,030, which is basically what a crash towards the downside, or that potential break could mean towards the downside. So, and as you can see, it is angled a little bit towards the downside, so more probabilities towards the downside. The Stokes, however, are still curling up toward the 12 hour. So there's some bifurcation there, because the Stokes on the daily is curling towards the downside. But just wanted to show here the RSI, can't really get that much out of it. Let's see here. As you can see here, the Stokes for the daily is still curling towards the downside. There is some support here, so maybe we'll get a bounce, but let's see how that goes. And then on the 4 hour chart, we can see that 4 hours, as you can see, Stokes are curling towards the downside still, so pressure is still towards the downside. Also, the HVP is flashing red, so most likely something really, well, hopefully big going to happen. And as you can see, price is really getting pushed towards the downside right now. It might be crossing below the EMA on the 4 hour. Scott, you as with everything, you take your time and you learn it. It's all hard work and dedication, my friend. That's how it is. um, so short term, like I said, very little to say. I'm still waiting for this pattern to be breaking, either towards the downside or the upside. But it's a rising wedge. Probabilities are just more towards the downside. If we are looking at the momentum, as you can see, Stokes on the 4 hours are crossing down, Stokes on the dailies are crossing down, blah 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 blah. So everything is just the same. It's just we have to be very very patient, and then secondly, we have to be careful as well. We can easily, like I said, we can also easily bounce from this support here and then go back up here first and then break down from there. So there's no point in holding in the middle when it can easily go back up here and then break down there. Then we just reposition ourselves here at this spot, right? So, but also the probabilities are really high that we just, you know, since we are grinding towards this on the support level of this trend line, it can just easily do this as well towards the downside as well. How can we tell that it really breaks the pattern? Well, if we get the candle close below it, that's basically where we can confirm that the pattern is. If we create a lower low, so if we, for example, there's two ways that we can. For now, there's two ways that how we can confirm it. So first of all, a candle close below this body line here, as you can see here, which is at 9,000 basically. So if we close a candle below 9,000, that would mean a lower low, and that would break the pattern. That's one way to confirm it. The second way would be a wick below the previous low. So this 8,000, I'll negate this one. This one is a little bit lower, but once again, it's what's during the weekend. So I'll just negate that one. I'll just still take this one. If we wick below 8,892, that would also generate a lower low. So you can look at it at two ways. Either a daily candle close below 9,000 would confirm a break of the pattern, or a daily or the price going below 8,892 once again below that price, that would confirm the break of the pattern as well. So for Nikolai, you were asking, do you do the same thing on the traditional market? Yes, if you can see here, this is the traditional market, and if you are looking at the pattern, it's exactly the kind of the spot where we are at, and as well as you can see right here, we have our triangle that is being formed, and the question is, do we break up out of that pattern towards the upside, or we get this break towards the downside here, and we get a small retracement back into our lower point from before. That's basically what we're looking at on Bitcoin as well. A triangle, and as you can see, very very similar time frame as well. It ends at the 9th of July, and if we are looking at our Bitcoin, on the daily chart, what is the end of the apex? 15th of July. So yeah, it will happen before that, right? So what the traditional market is saying is 9th of July apex. So the next couple of days, next couple of days. It could be tomorrow, could be could be the 6th of July. Who knows? Something like that. But very similar. Look, our Stokes are very toppy on the 4 hour. On here we are hitting a very major resistance zone towards the top, and this is a downward channel, as you can see, that we have been forming for a while now, for the past, it's also 2 weeks already. 2 weeks that we have formed a lower low, lower highs, as you can see here, high, lower high, lower high, lower high. So very similar as Bitcoin, as you can see. So yeah, so that's the reason why if you know how to use technical analysis for Bitcoin, you can use technical analysis on basically everything. You can do it on Forex, you can do it on everything. But yeah, this is this is basically it. You have to be very patient. Don't do anything foolish. Don't don't do anything stupid. Just stick with the plan. Just always stick with the plan. Be calm, be patient, and normally things will work out. not always, but normally it does work out. So yeah, we kind of, let's wrap it up. We kind of know what the possibilities is. Well, possibilities is following. We break down from this channel, and then yeah, things will work out, and we go to our we break down towards the 9K, and then most likely the next couple of days we'll breaking down towards like the 8.6K, the green box that we've been talking about for like. And now we have to expand this more to the right side because it's been taking forever, right? Okay, so yeah, there, this green box, that's basically what we're waiting for. Or we can break up outside of this rising wedge towards the upside, and then if we break this green box here, then we can be a little bit bullish once again, and maybe we'll be retesting the top of the triangle once again out when we break. Oh, sorry, when we break outside of this triangle back into this area here, 9.9K once again. Let's say something like this, right? Out of the 9.9K. Yep, that would be the bullish scenario. So stop losses, very very important. Stop losses at for me at the EMA 200 at 9,300, basically 9,300. If you are more risk averse, you can just put your stop loss here at 9,450, something like that, just at the top of this triangle here. And then basically if it breaks the triangle, then you know you have to be stopping, definitely stopping your position. But if it gets rejected, then it will just bounce back towards the downside anyways, right? And this, the RSI, if we break back up towards the inside of this wedge, we've checked the RSI number, it's around 9,258 or something like that. So 9,300, give or take. Like I said, 9,300 is basically the key number that we are seeing here. But for everything else, the pressure is still towards the downside rather than the upside. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's quite a lot actually already for today. I thought it would be really really quick after just seeing that monthly candle close, but it was more than I expected. Anyways, wish you a happy Wednesday, and hope to see you again tomorrow. Maybe we will see some action during the night. I think we will see some action during the night because yes, the HVP is flashing red. So I do think that we will be seeing some action during the night. Do we get some very annoying long wicks once again towards the upside? Maybe, maybe. But for now, I still stick with my bias. I still stick with the same thing that I've been talking about. I still think that most likely we'll be going at least towards like 8.6K-ish or something like that. Get a bounce from there and figure it out from there. So yeah. Hope to see you again tomorrow, same time, same place, 7:30 p.m. UTC +8. And until then, please stay home, stay safe.